technology.
I don't have a StreamYard account anymore. So we are live, and give us 1 second if you're joining us live
Okay.
here. I need to like everybody's on the other one waiting right now. I even sent out an email telling everybody about it.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. I can't. Technology, like, what
So
must I do?
those of you who are coming on today, we're going to be talking about if teachers are paid too much, if online teachers are paid too much. Now, the issue that we had just now was that the platform that we were using, we couldn't see each other or hear each other on. So this is kind of a last
New?
minute
Yeah.
fix here. So I was like, let's go over to StreamYard because we had this scheduled and everything. So I apologize for that. Okay. So today we want to talk about if online teachers are paid enough. I know that this is going to bring out, or if they're paid too much. And I know this is probably going to bring out a lot of emotions for some people. So I'm going to ask that, everybody is kind and friendly to each other, and that we don't like do any name calling or anything like this. We can have a differing opinion on some things. And when Sean came to me and he asked to come onto our live and he had the subject, I let him know. I said, well, I'm going to let you know right now that I disagree with you. This is going to be a debate. And he was friendly enough, and we're like, okay, we're going to have a debate then. So let's welcome Sean here. Sean, can you give us a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you? What do you teach? What's your story
What's my
here?
deal? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I started teaching about almost 10 years ago. First, we were in Thailand, and then we shot over to China, and it was supposed to be just a quick thing to see some friends, and then that turned into 7 years of living and working in China, teaching English. And then obviously we were there during the pandemic, and things got a little crazy, and we switched to online, and we started a company. So I guess that's where we are right now. We have a company, employ teachers, and yeah, do the training and everything for them, help them make a little bit of a living, and yeah, I guess that's
Okay.
it, right? Oh, and then now we travel. Now we travel like around because we're from South Africa, so it's dangerous.
Okay. So your school is like primarily virtual, or you do in person too?
So actually, we had in person, but then obviously like COVID, and it just kind of made sense to us to just stay online. We spent quite a bit of money setting up our systems and converting our PPTs and training our teachers and doing all of that. And yeah, when it was time for like the schools to reopen, we reopened for like 6 months before we were shut down again. And we were just like, you know what, like in terms of business, this is probably not the best idea for us. So we just did like a full switch, everything online.
Okay. So let's just get right into this. You say that online teachers are asking for too much pay. Tell us what you feel is a fair pay, and where that statement comes from, where that belief comes from.
So I think we have to put it into like kind of a category. If you have experience and you've done this before, I believe you have every leg to stand on, right? You can come in, you can say, look, this is my worth, and we are more than willing to pay that. But
Okay.
if you are new to this industry and I have to do all the training for you, I have to basically spoon feed you into your first class. You have no leg to stand on to say, look, I want 25 or $30, like right off the bat. You know, it doesn't, I believe that it doesn't really matter where you're from. You can be from England, America, South Africa. It doesn't matter. You can have the highest degree possible known to man, but the fact is that there are still going to be some things that you're lacking. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in feeling that way, but I guess that's what we're here to find out, right?
Well, that's a really interesting perspective, though, because we have never had somebody from a company come on here, with that kind of perspective, I guess. So brand new. I'm coming into this industry brand new. I've never taught before. Like I know I could be a good teacher. Maybe you know, maybe I've done a little bit of training, like you know, brand new coming into it. I've never taught online before. What am I worth as a brand new teacher? What do you think?
Mm. Well, I think firstly, where you're coming from, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't fall down to us, right? It's about what the parents want. We have to satisfy their needs first and foremost, right? So, for whatever reason it may be, the most wanted country for teachers is obviously America. So, if you're applying from America, the parents are willing to pay higher. So, obviously, we can offer you higher. Applying from England, it's sort of the same. But then a big issue that we deal with teachers from England is a strong accent. You know, like if you're from Liverpool and you have a very very strong accent, like some teachers can get away with it, especially if you're very well presentable, like you're very presentable. But yeah, it's a tough sell sometimes as well. And then on the other hand, you have South African teachers who apply and they look the parts, they're well qualified, they speak really well, they're very fluent, and the parents don't want anything to do with them. And we can only offer them a certain rate, otherwise we lose money, you know.
Okay.
So that's kind of like where it falls for us. I guess if we had to start at like a basic rate for an American teacher coming in first time, no experience, um, would you if you've never done any teaching in your life before, right, in a school or any environment like that, I guess maybe $15, you
Okay.
know.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm going to, my hair is like doing some crazy things right now. I apologize. But I'm going to go back on that here really quick. Okay. So I, apply to your company and you give me a worth of $15 an hour. And
Mhm.
I understand your struggle is getting the students to want to pay that. Okay. So I understand
Mhm.
that struggle completely because you can't have a business if you don't have paying students.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody who is like me, like okay, and you come in, you're like, okay, well, you're brand new, you are worth $15 an hour. um I'm going to disagree with that because I believe that a teacher should not be paid minimum wage, even if they have no qualifications. And
Mhm.
where I'm from, $15 an hour is, I mean, I could go work at McDonald's and get paid $15 an hour.
Yeah.
So, not to mention, for like in America, and I don't know how other countries work, but there's also something called a self employment tax. So, when you go and you work for a company, say I go and work for McDonald's, okay, and they're paying me $15 an hour, there is a percentage of my taxes that I would normally be responsible for that the company pays on my behalf. That's about
Yeah.
15%.
Mhm.
As a self-employed individual, I have to pay that. So I'm actually paying less than $15. I'm being paid less than $15 an hour. I know that's what's coming from the company, but
Yeah.
what's actually going into my pocket because I'm responsible for self-employment taxes. I'm responsible for my internet connection. I'm responsible for, you know, last week my daughter dumped an entire thing of Chinese sweet and sour sauce on my laptop. I was responsible for $1,600 of buying a new computer.
Yeah.
So like I understand where you're coming from, but um it do you believe that um online teachers that are working for your company or any company, right? Like as a company owner, an online teacher that's working for you, do you believe that it is the company's moral responsibility to provide a livable wage for them?
I guess if I'm being honest, I have a yes and a no take to that. As a human being, and a teacher who obviously went to China the first time with minimal experience, I would say yes, right, 100%. But from a business perspective, and I'm not like this is like one of the harder things to explain. I don't know if you worked in China
I
or
did
you
not.
know of, yeah, or you know of anybody who did. Their business practice is very different compared to like Western business practice. It's like it's night and day, you know. So how they see things and how we see things are completely different. And this is like one of the biggest issues that I have with my business partners is they have a certain idea of the teacher that they want and the amount of money that they want to pay the teacher. And I'd be on this side saying like we can't do that. That's it's immoral. If we even offer them that, like that's like throwing dirt in their face. You have as an example, you have a person here who has kids. Like that's always the hardest for me is like if you have kids, you're trying your best to make a living, and I can see the potential you have, but they can't. So as a human being, I'm like, yeah, 100%. I have gone out of my way to help the people in my company earn more, right? But from the business side, they'll look at that and they'll be like, "That's not our problem." Just like you said, or you had you have tax to pay, you have to buy your new laptop, you have to do all those things. I mean, think about from a company side. We have to pay tax as well. We have to transfer the money to you. And I don't know about like I don't know if you've worked for companies before, but my personal feeling about companies that pay using PayPal is kind of like a cheat, if you know what I mean. Like every company has the ability to pay directly into your bank account. They just choose not to because it's cheaper, you know?
Okay. Okay.
So we pay directly into our teachers' bank accounts. We pay that tax, right? Because there's a transfer tax that comes from doing that. And we pay that, but we don't tell you that we're paying that, you know? We
Okay.
just do it. Do you
Okay.
know what I mean? So from business side, they look at it and they're like, well, we don't care. That's your problem. But from personal side, I'm like, I know.
So, to go off on this, and there's some comments there. I'm gonna go to the comments in a second, but to go off on that there, um, it it might not. Okay, so it's not your problem. Like the bills that I have to pay, like those are my own expenses. Those are my own problem. That's my own problem, right? Like I have to pay my mortgage. Excuse me. That's not your problem. That's my problem.
Mm,
But um, when you as a company are no longer uh, gearing towards um, teachers that demand a higher pay, in the end you're going to end up getting teachers who are not the best teachers. Like
yeah,
they because the good teachers are going to be able to demand a higher pay,
yeah, for
and
sure.
they're not going to be working for $15 an hour even if they're brand new. I have seen teachers come in that are brand new off the bat, from like say South Africa, and they are amazing teachers, but a lot of the stereotypes and everything that come through,
Yeah,
um, and then just there's I have a special place in my heart for non-native English speaker teachers, because yes, you have the teachers, I'll say teachers, who clearly cannot even speak English fluently. Like they clearly should not be teaching it because they are still learning themselves. But then you have the non-native native English speakers who offer this really amazing set of qualities, because they have been able to learn the language and learn the strategies and learn what works and what doesn't work. But even in, because some of these countries, some of these companies will pay non-native English speakers like $5 an hour,
yep,
and a
yep.
lot of Americans, for example, were like, "Oh, well, they live in the Philippines, they live in South Africa. That's a good wage for them." And while it's a better wage, you're from the Philippines, right? Or South Africa. You're from South
I'm
Africa.
South African.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, so you're even like looking at me like that. Like a lot of American teachers, a lot of teachers from Canada, from the UK, they're like, oh, well, they live there, so like they can afford to live on that. Can you afford to live on that as a South African?
okay, I have two things to say first.
Yeah.
First thing. Why is South Africa considered non-native speaking?
That's a really good question. It's
Who said that?
most a lot of the companies, you were not aware of this. A lot of the companies consider South Africa as a non-native English speaking company. I'm
Can a lot of the companies not research online? We were colonized by the British. We speak English. It's our first language. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
I don't know. A lot of, I don't know why. I don't know why. If you look it up, then, if you look it up, you will see that South Africa is not a non-native English speaking country. But um, most of the companies, when they consider the native speaking English countries, they consider, see if I can get them all. There's six: United States, UK, Canada, Australia,
Ireland.
Ireland, and New Zealand.
Okay.
Those are the
All right.
six countries that people usually consider.
Yeah.
Um,
So okay, so it's first thing, like I said, I personally know for a fact that South Africans are native English speakers because I grew up there and we all speak English and we speak 7 other languages as well. You know, that from a linguistic side, that puts us at an advantage, if anything. You know, the second thing, as for a wage of $5 in South Africa, that's outrageous. You know, we've traveled to many countries now, and I can tell you honestly, whether it's the Philippines, Bali, Thailand, Vietnam, that doesn't cut it. Like, what these companies that are doing this in the injustice don't realize is that the price of living or the cost of living goes up everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, yeah, sure, you might be able to like nickel and dime it here and there in like Philippines and Thailand. Yeah, you can get some Hainese chicken for like, I don't know, like $1. But at the end of the day, you still have to pay for your apartment. You have to pay for your rent, your Wi-Fi. In South Africa, we have extra needs, right? I don't know if you heard, but we have a little bit of a power problem, and you have to pay for a backup generator. That's not cheap, you know. Like or they need the money as much as anybody else. So like when it comes down to pay and stuff, like I'm 100% behind paying teachers, and I would, but it always comes down to the one main factor: how are you going to convince your students, clients, or whoever to pay a higher wage for a teacher who has no experience? You know,
yeah,
that's the biggest problem. And when that teacher comes in, and I mean, some teachers come in with like huge expectations because before they even apply, they've gone into groups like yours on Facebook. They've done all the research, and kudos to them for doing it. You know, they know what they should be worth. But there's a difference between having all that information and actually practically teaching, you know, because there
yes.
is an element involved, right, of actually doing that,
And I feel there, I mean, there are so many different factors that go into it. Like, are you teaching one-on-ones? Are you teaching groups? Are you highly
right?
niched? Who are you teaching? Are you teaching students in Saudi Arabia? Are you teaching students in America? Are you teaching
Yep.
students in the UK? Are you teaching students in China? Like are you teaching students in Brazil? Those are all going to have a very big impact on what is fair and what is, you know,
Yeah.
I
Well,
always recommend though, teachers that are independent. I'm sorry, teachers that are independent, they can demand a higher pay because they're not like your what you charge the students has to be cut because you're going to take your
yeah,
cut as the company. You're running a business too. Students who are or teachers who are running their own independent business, they have to do all of the marketing, all of the student acquisition. They have to they're not paying some of it out. So an independent teacher is going to be able to charge a lot more than a teacher that's working for a company. And I always think that it's a good idea for a teacher who has never taught before to, and maybe you're not going to like this being from a company, but to work for a company first, because then you're going to get the experience from that company. You're really going to learn about the students. And for anybody that's working for a company, if you're working for a company, use that opportunity to learn about the students, to be able to serve your existing students with that company, and then go independent later with it. And I'm not saying steal the students, but when you go in and you talk to your student, so say I'm working for Sean's company and I say, hey, I've got this new student. Okay. And I ask this student, why are you learning English? What is hard for you? What have you tried before? How many, don't just throw those questions, put it in a conversation, but now you're market researching how to how to best serve your students, how to market to
yeah.
them.
Hmm.
I want to come back here. Katie says, I think the issue is not just for new teachers, but that longer term, even experienced teachers are being paid too little. That is an issue. There are a lot of companies out there that are offering 10, 20.
Yeah, but you know, okay. So let me start off by saying, before I get in trouble, right? Let me start off by saying that I'm all for teachers going independently, 100%. Because, like I said, I'm for the teachers, especially for like the people from my company. Well,
Mhm.
not just my company, but like my country. You know, 100% go independent, but don't do it if you don't know what you're getting into. One of the things that a lot of teachers don't realize when they go independent is now usually you kind of have the company to fall back on. If you make a mistake, we are doing this because we know how to deal with clients. That is our specialty. My specialty isn't really to teach anymore. Now my specialty is to handle shit, right? Like I'm trying my very best to take any teacher's mistake that they've made or any kind of problem that the parent has, and I'm trying to make that into like a very small thing. It's not a huge deal, right? In Chinese, they say measure, right? Doesn't matter.
Okay.
For teachers who go independently, do you have that ability? Do you have that skill to, you know, keep it calm when the parent's telling you that you're teaching, you've taught this lesson before, but you know you haven't taught the lesson before? The kid is just not responding. Um, oh, they can get the same teaching at a lower price at another company. Like, do you have the wherewithal to deal with those things before you go independently? If not, learn how to deal with that. Get as much experience, like you said, as you can, then go and do it. Don't just jump into it now because the money's better.
Yeah. Yeah. Katie says, I think part of the issue is that training for ESL teachers is often lacking in a teaching practicum aspect. So qualified new
Yeah,
teachers aren't actually ready to do the job. Oh my goodness. If you're talking about those online TESOL and TOEFL certificates, they're garbage. All these companies that require them, like
yeah,
even a degree, even if you go out and get a degree, the most important thing, in my opinion, the most important thing is getting in there and getting experience with actual students and learning how
yep,
to do it. You can be
yep,
teaching in a classroom for 60 years and then
yep.
come on to an online environment. It's completely different. Yeah. Um,
100%. I think
who's frozen, me or him? Let me know in the comments here. Who's
uh,
frozen? Oh, there we go.
I think
Okay.
I think it was me. So if you put yourself in their shoes and you're trying to learn a language, obviously there's an academic part to learning that, right? You need to know like your verbs, nouns, adjectives, and all that, but you also need to be practicing that practically. I need to be speaking. If I want to learn French, I'm going to talk to a French person. I'm going to feel like a fool doing it, but I'm going to go do it. And like Katie said, there is just no place really where teachers can go and get a lot of information and a lot of help. In fact, just before this, I was doing training with my teachers, and we had like another teacher who has a lot of experience come online and give like a little bit of a training. He did like an hour of training for them. And it really riled me because they weren't asking questions. And I was like, you guys have to deal with me every day, like teaching you the one small little part of ESL, like this minuscule.
We keep losing him. Today's like the day of tech
Part.
issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, and you didn't ask any questions. So it drove me insane. Like, here's your opportunity, do it. And they didn't. And I was like, oh man, like it hurts.
So, and I can't even imagine. I've been told before that I should start an online teaching company because I have both email lists. Just for starts, I've got the email list of students. I've got the email list of teachers because I've done both for years.
Yeah.
And people have actually reached out to me and been like, oh, you should collaborate with us and help us start our online teaching company. I'm really, 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 I've been burnt before by
Yeah.
companies, by teachers. I'm very skeptical now. Like, if I'm going to work with you, I got to fully trust you. Integrity is a huge thing to me. You know, I won't put
Yeah.
my name on anything that it's out there forever. But
Yeah.
I think I've been told before that I should do that, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I like working with teachers and showing them how to do things. I don't want to work with teachers as a boss. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be someone's boss. It's a
Let
huge.
me
Yeah.
let me just tell you, like when I started doing this, I had hair. Now I'm starting to friggin' go bald. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm losing my hair because of like it's not teacher problems, but it's clients. They are an anomaly. You cannot control what they think, what they're going to say, and all those kinds of things. And I, I'm telling you now, if you take anything away from this interview, like take away that they are going to drive you up the wall, and if you're going to go independently, be prepared for it. No, have strategies in place.
I'm going to tell you too. Now you're working primarily in the Chinese marketplace, right? Like your
Yeah,
students are
for now.
okay.
Hmm.
So in my experience, I have done that. Okay, I have done that. I have
Yep.
done like global. I have done like American homeschools. I've kind of been everywhere. Okay, but I have done like let's just split it into two here. We'll do Chinese and not Chinese. And the Chinese marketing has gotten so hard, especially with the influx of teachers, because they have learned that they can be demanding and they can demand low rates. It has gotten to the point, unless you're really niched and you really know it. So for a company, it's got to be really hard. But unless you're really niched down and you really know who you're trying to reach and how you're going to reach them, it has gotten to the point where looking for a teacher, they are now looking for the most acceptable teacher at the lowest price that they can pay. They're not
Yep.
looking for results anymore for these bottom of the barrel like just like I'm looking for an English teacher, not I'm looking for an English teacher that can help my kid do this. It's just I need an English teacher and I want to pay this. They go after Filipino teachers, South African teachers to charge to pay less. So I I feel like the respect in the Chinese marketplace has gone from like here down to here. So you're also working in a very challenging and difficult marketplace.
Yep.
Um, I will give you that.
But let me tell you what makes that worse, right? And I don't want to rain on the parade of teachers who go privately and do their own thing. But probably about a year and a half ago, there was a video of a girl from America she posted that she's doing these English lessons. She said she's doing the English lessons for 1 yuan, right? That's 14 cents. A lesson for 14 cents. Now, firstly, this pisses off every single ESL company because there's no way that that's real, right? There's a catch. There has to be a catch, firstly. Secondly, what that does is now because she's posted this on social media and it's got like millions of views, right? That is the video that they're going to be sending to you when you tell them what your rate is for your teachers. Oh, but this teacher can give us classes at 14 cents.
Well, then go to
Like,
that teacher. Go to that
yeah,
teacher and come back to me and let me know how that works because
exactly.
I
And
have a
and
feeling
that's
I
that.
have a feeling that was on Xiaohongshu.
No, that was on Weixin.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have a
And
feeling
Billy.
Okay, I have a feeling that that video was just made to go viral. So I haven't seen this, I haven't heard of it, but I have a feeling that she created that video just to go viral so that she could start attracting new followers. And I'm not really sure what the marketing plan was on that, but yeah, Katie said the same thing. Probably some kind of marketing thing, like like get shared like a whole bunch of times. The
Yeah.
the other problem that we have here is that we have some amazing teachers. So when double reduction policy happened, and I know there are some people that have not been around for that. So if you have not been around for that, I'm feeling old now, but a couple of years ago, like more than a couple of years ago, everybody was teaching in these Chinese companies: VIP Kid, Palefish, Wales English, ABC, Magic Ears, all of these. You could go out and you could work for like 20 different ESL companies.
Yeah.
They paid fair rates because they were very competitive with each other. China is very competitive. Their students are very competitive. Their parents are very competitive, and everybody had their kids in tennis and basketball and English lessons and math lessons and private tutoring. And they would go to these private cram schools and they would go to school until 7 o'clock at night and then come home and take lessons until 10 o'clock at night. And China said, hold on a second. The mental well-being of our next generation is declining here, and we're giving a lot of our money to other countries who are investing in things. We need to stop this for a variety of reasons. No classes after 9 o'clock. No classes, no classes taught by these companies. So they changed a lot of these things with the double reduction policy, and a lot of these companies just shut the door. Okay, like Wales English was one actually where teachers woke up they had full schedules. They woke up, logged into their class. There's no class to log into. There's no company anymore. The
yeah,
CEO took off on an airplane, got arrested at the airport trying to run with everybody's money. So parents are skeptical of the ESL teaching industry in a lot of cases because they lost their money, and teachers were skeptical. Well, then what happened was all of these teachers that lost their jobs, lost their students, they flooded the Chinese marketplace because that's what they were used to teaching. They were used to teaching in the Chinese marketplace. So everybody's
yeah,
like, I need to get on WeChat, I need to get on WeChat, I need to find my students, I need to do this. So now all these teachers who started off, like, they started off not being teachers at some point in time, they became very good teachers, had very full schedules, were making really good income doing this. I apologize, it's a snow day, so I've got kids upstairs, but
that's
um,
okay.
they now have no students, no income, they're desperate, they go to WeChat. Now when you have a whole bunch of desperate teachers who don't know how to market, what happens? Their prices go low. They know how
Yep.
to teach, but they don't know how to run a business, and that's kind of the problem that we had in China. And
Mhm.
hopefully over the next coming, over the I don't think it's going to be like this forever. Eventually I think it's going to shift back into some sort of normalcy, because you can't live off of 14 cents for a lesson.
Yeah.
But
Well, okay. To put things into perspective, though, I know that's the story that was going around about, oh, how, oh, you cannot teach after 9, and but that's not really what happened, right?
okay.
Basically, what happened is the police came into the school and they shut down the school. And the reason for them shutting down the school was, what is your school giving the students and the clients that you have that public school can't give them? And unless you could prove that your school was giving the students something that public school wasn't, they were like, shut your doors.
Well, were you no, you didn't have an actual physical location in China, did you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're seeing it from the other perspective then, because
Yeah,
for online teachers it was a little different. For the public schools, they had teachers that were doing, like, they had teachers that were like getting their students privately, like, oh,
yeah,
I'm Miss Shanahan, and I'm come into my classes after school, and I'll make more money off of you.
yeah,
Um And then, oh, Katie said the issue was also companies pushing students to study beyond their grade level. Oh my, I hated
yeah,
the cookie cutter. Like,
yeah,
it's so cookie cutter and it doesn't work for them. I had so many students come from other companies, um, privately, and I'd start teaching them, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, that you got nothing out of this. You spent years working with, like, whatever company you were with, and, like, you think, like, the parents think that their kids got something, but are frustrated because their kids got nothing out of it. Their kids aren't doing good enough, and I'm like,
yeah.
because
Well, this is one of the biggest problems that we have now. Is now with everybody pushing, like, it's literally doing this, right? You have all the private teachers who are just accepting these low rates. Then you have teachers who want to work for companies who are expecting ha 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 rates, you know, and like, where's the happy medium here? Now, to get back onto our points of this whole thing, is that, like I said to you in our chat, I have absolutely no problem paying a teacher exactly what they're worth. If you can prove to me that you are $35, $40 worth of a teacher, I'll pay you right now. But that you need to provide that. That not only should I see that, but the people who I work for, they need to see that as well. And like, our whole policy kind of now, our hiring process has changed. Before, we would hire a teacher, give them like a kind of like a standard rate, and then let them build their way up. Now what we do is, teacher comes in, trial class, and then we can kind of see, like, okay, well, this is the standard of teaching that you do. Obviously there are a couple of steps in it, and then we offer them a rate after that, and then it's up to them to accept or go to another school or go privately, you know
okay,
yeah.
okay,
So yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm starting to think that most companies will be doing now. Other than that, from my perspective, I think that online English teaching in China will only go so much further. I think that you need to now be providing something more than just standard English lessons. So for any of the private teachers who are out there, if you have Chinese clientele, I think in the next year or two, you need to step up your game. And I saw that you had a great podcast about AI. That's the field you need to be getting into now.
Yeah, I think when you are a teacher, a private teacher, you need to have a niche.
Yeah,
You're not going to be able to demand high wages if you are just going on as a general, like I teach English to everybody who wants an English lesson, because, like I said, they can go and they can get that from 14 cents. I'm sure they actually can't. I'm sure there's something more to it, like you said. But
yeah,
they can go and they can get those standard English lessons from anybody. They can find a price no matter what you're charging. They can find a price cheaper than yours. It might not be a
yeah,
great teacher, but they can find a price cheaper than yours.
for sure.
So when you're going in there and you need to decide, like, this is what I'm going to set my rates at. This is who I help, and this is how I help them. This is their pain point. And I think that it's always important, just kind of like a quick little coaching thing for all of you guys to help you out here. There are two different factors that are going to motivate your price point. Your clients are going to help motivate your price point. There's two different factors. The first of those factors is what they want. Okay. Like I want to have my kid get a good job. I want to get a good job. I want to pass a test. Okay. The first is what they want. And you can go further and define that even further. I want to do this because it does this for my life, right? And hopefully I'm talking clear enough and so you guys can understand what I'm saying. The other factor is actually more motivating. And a lot of people don't understand this factor. They don't think about it. So when they think about niche, they'll think about this is what they want. Well, first of all, when they think about niche, they don't think about that. But when they're taught to do niche training, they're like, this is what they want. But what most people don't teach when they teach the niche training is that what they want to avoid is actually a more motivating factor. So take this, for example. I want to teach English so that I want to teach English online so I can stay home with my kids and I can support my family. Okay. I want to teach English online so I don't go into debt and lose my home and lose my car and see which one's more motivating, right?
Yeah,
Like, you know, yeah, I went on a rant there, but that's really important here.
no,
And
but
then that goes into what Katie says. Oh wait, hold on a second. No, where did I go? Uh the companies themselves aren't offering value to students. What do you feel about that?
value to students or value to parents? To parents?
Parents, yeah, sorry.
Hmm. It's changing. It's changing slowly because nowadays, because there's so many, like, I don't know if you've seen this trend as well, but now there are also just companies popping up like all over the place. Little small companies, you know, who choose very random names, but that's another rant. But yeah, to Katie's question, I guess you have to, as a company now, you have to be able to tell the parents, look, we have this many years of experience, and these are the students who've, like, for example, these are the students who've passed the KET exam. These are their scores. These are the students who passed the PET exam. These are their scores. Our athletes, these are their scores. That's what we're doing to our parents now. When they say to us, oh, actually, like on first contact, some of the stuff we send, like they'll say hello, we'll say hello, and like some of, like, probably like 3 or 4 messages after that, we're sending test papers. Like, this is what we've achieved. Our teachers, this is what they're doing, you know? And then the parents feel more at ease. They're like, okay, well, if these children are getting these results, ours can too. So that's something that we do. And I think companies who are working at hiring teachers as well, I've seen a lot of companies out there who are like, they charge their teachers for training, and they sell their own, like you said, their own TFL or TESOL certificates and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that needs to be done. That needs to be trashed like yesterday. If you're a
Yeah.
company, you're doing, by training your teachers, you are only helping your company grow. If I have the best teachers working for me, right, that's going to make me more money and it's going to make them more money. Why am I trying to take their money away by giving them like value, you know? So yeah, we'll see a slow change.
I think that I think that a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of people that are looking for easy money have pinpointed online ESL teachers as
Yeah.
easy targets because they saw the desperation.
Yeah.
And I actually know, and don't ask me names because I'm not going to give any names here, but I actually know that there is a person in our industry that will business train online teachers, and like to show them how to grow very much what I do, right? And
Mm-hmm.
show them how to grow their business. And this person uh, has been known to tell teachers, if you can't do this, if it doesn't work for you to get students, then you should go to get um teachers. Like, you should train teachers how to do it.
Uh,
That's actually really wrong, because I feel that online teachers are actually like the hardest niche that you can, the ESL teachers are a
yeah.
really difficult niche, but
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of people see that, and they target desperate online ESL teachers that lost their job, are struggling to go independent, are struggling to find companies, because you have all these low paying companies out there. um they target these teachers with different things. There was a co-op that existed a couple of years ago, that came up right after double reduction, and this is one of the companies that I was burnt by, um, because I was really excited for a co-op, and we get into it, and I'm like, yes, like I'll do your training, like I'll do all of this. I agreed to work for basically back pay, so
Yeah.
you owe me. I'll train all your teachers. I'll train them marketing skills. I'll do all of this, and like you just pay me when when you get up and running. Um, Really awesome idea for the co-op. And then what ended up happening was they grew and they grew and they grew with teachers, taking in the teacher co-op fees. And then they would take that money and advertise to get more teachers to get teacher co-op fees.
Yeah.
And then they never advertised the students. And then, it was kind of like that's where I was like, I'm out. I'm out. I keep telling you need to get students and you're not listening to me. Stop going after the teachers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you
There.
Best training she had was practicums in school, and that school then hired me afterwards. Training in partnership with employers is the way forward. Yeah. Um, in my teaching practicums, I was never replacing a fully qualified paid teacher. We co-taught and gave feedback. I can imagine some online schools using trainees as free labor, though. Yeah. So I want to go back to this comment. I wasn't ignoring you here. I wanted to pull this up after. Um, Sonia said there does need to be a way for teachers to gain experience. She's accepted lower rates to gain that, but in reality, it's less than minimum wage. For a teacher who is coming in, as from the company's perspective, for a teacher who is coming in and they're coming in to gain um, experience, and they want to eventually charge those higher rates, what do you think, in your opinion, that they should be doing to do that?
Well, first of all, I think that for a teacher who's coming in and wants to start or who accepts the lower rates because they know they need the work, I think that you need to come in with kind of like two mindsets. You can either one, know where you want to go with this. You know in the back of your mind, look, I want to go private. That's my ultimate goal.
Mhm.
Or you can come into a company and accept the fact that we will pay you your worth once you get there. Do you know what I mean? Like a good company is always going to up a teacher's rate. You can't deny them. If I have a teacher who's been working for me for 2 years, they haven't had one bad review. Like, who am I, or even a year for that matter, or 6 months? Like, it depends on the teacher. But who am I to, like, if they say to me, hey, like, I need extra money, like, who am I to deny them a raise? In fact, it's part of my job to be looking at their classes and assessing it on a daily basis and being like this teacher has really stepped up their game, you know? And to give you a classic example of that, we had a South African teacher who started working for us, and we gave her like a basic rate because, no experience, no degree, uh, had a TEFL, but it was here or there, like touch and go with the TEFL. Like I'd never heard of the company before, but whatever, but I want to help out. But through her training, And then through her teaching, 6 months later, she came to me and she's like, "Oh, I started learning Chinese, like Mandarin, so that I can better communicate with the students." I'm like, "Okay, great." Before I knew it, like I had parents messaging me like, "I want this, I want your class, I want your class, I want your class." Now, in what world am I ever going to look at this teacher and be like, "Okay, yeah, take the classes, but I'm not going to up your salary"? You're doing so great. Of course, salary up. And that'll just keep going the better and better you do. But I get it. That's perfect world. There are companies out there who will just take the money and put it in their pockets. But I'm just saying, like, that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that a lot of these companies that are popping up everywhere, they are just looking for an easy payday. They don't care about the teachers. A lot of them, they don't care about the teachers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that your perspective here is unique when it comes to companies because most don't care.
Yeah. To go to Katie's points as well. So she was saying that the best training that she got was from teachers in schools.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that. But it just so happens that I was a teacher in school, right? The people who are in my company, I'm giving them every little bit of knowledge I have in order for them to progress and to do well, you know? Because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, business for business, like if you make money, I make money. If your rate goes up, so does mine. That's just how it works. The
yeah,
only difference is that I pay corporate tax and you pay your tax. That's the only
right,
difference.
right. So, what? Oh, how? Okay, so you've got the experience as a teacher. You've got the experience as a company. A lot of these companies, like you said, that if somebody does well, it's your responsibility to give them raises as they go in. A lot of these companies will not do this. If a teacher is looking for a company to start getting practice and start learning how to teach and eventually maybe going independent or not, either way, um how do they decide what is a good company? What should they be looking for? What makes a good company?
I think that as a community of teachers, we need to be more open and honest about what companies are good and what companies are bad. If you have a bad experience, don't keep that to yourself. Because if it happened to you, it's probably you're probably not the only one it's happened to. And the more information we have, the better decisions we can make, right? I know tons of teachers, tons of amazing teachers who worked for companies prior to working for me and were robbed, like absolutely robbed. And to this day, they won't tell me the name of the company. It's like they feel like some kind of like what's it called when somebody like kidnaps you and then you start to like
Stockholm syndrome.
yeah, it's like Stockholm syndrome, right? They start to like just have this relationship with this company and they won't say anything bad, but they did bad things to me and I left them, but I won't tell you who it is and I won't tell you what they did. And I'm just like, let us know. Let your community know. The people who are in the trenches with you, let us know. So I think that one of the best things new teachers to ESL can do, go onto join pages like yours, because yours is like really out of a lot of the pages that I've been on, and I not only joined it recently, but I scanned it. Like, join pages like yours where there's open, honest discussions where people are giving their true feelings, and not everybody is just blowing smoke up your butt and saying, "Yeah, great job, great job." You have people who are against your opinion, saying like, "No, that's horrible. Don't tell people that." Find things like that where people are being truly honest, and then take it from there. I don't particularly have an ESL company that I would recommend that you get started with. Like, yeah.
You're saying look for reviews and ask about it. And if it sounds
Yeah,
too good to
yeah,
be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it
yes,
probably is. There are
yeah.
so okay, so talking about my Facebook page, and if anybody's not in there, normally I would have a link in the description box, but we had problems, so I'll put that in there later. But it's the online teacher success and support group. And when you go into like this group, this is a group for teachers. Are recruiters allowed there? Yes. Do we have recruiters in there? Yes. but teachers are more than well, and I've let them know beforehand, like, you are more than welcome to advertise your lessons in the Tuesday comment section. You're not going to flood the news feed with all these companies. You are more than welcome to charge whatever you want or pay whatever you want to pay teachers, but be prepared. I'm not holding back teachers' comments.
Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because this is a group for teachers, we support the teachers. And if teachers want to say, like, if you're gonna give a low wage, be prepared to hear something back about that. Be
Yep.
prepared for feedback that you're not gonna like, and I'm not stopping it.
Hmm.
um and then I've had, so one of the things that I do is when a teacher comes into the group, I try to reach out to, I this group grows by like 200 people a day, so I have messaging limitations, but I try to reach out to every single person, say welcome to the group. um Here's something, whatever I've got going on at the time, here's something I can help you with. And uh because I do talk to most people that are joining the group, I am able to filter out the majority of people that are coming in that are scammers. So I
Yep.
had one person, because they'll reply, oh well, here's the job that you applied to, I didn't apply to that job, goodbye. Or another one is here is a, oh my goodness, what was it? Transcript translating job. And she was like, I want
Uh,
to pay
yeah.
you. I want to pay you to translate things um from English to your native language. I'm like, what are you gonna pay me for this? And she's like, $1,000. And I'm like, you're gonna pay me $1,000 to translate English to my native language, which the only language that I speak is English. Like, if it sounds too good, there's one that I got that I just kicked her out of the group this morning. She replied back and said, we're looking for people to create training material. We will pay $100 per video, but we're paying in bulk. So it will be after you make, 30 or 40 videos, we will pay you. Like, don't do that. If it sounds
Yep.
like you're gonna pay me $100 per training video, or not training video, educational content that
Yep.
they can use, and I have to give you a video before you pay me, and I have to do that 30 times to like get like a couple of $1,000. Like, there's so many companies out there. Dottie Coach, that was another one, which uh, yeah, there are like so many people out there that are targeting teachers.
Yeah.
Ask.
But
Ask.
just to like add like an element of, I don't know, to it. But there are actually jobs like that they post. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you're in those groups on WeChat, but there are actually jobs like that where they're offering, like, I wouldn't say $1,000 though. That obviously that's too good to be true. But they're offering money for people to translate directly from Chinese to English. But you got to have the skill set. It's not
Right.
just
Oh,
you
I
can
know
just
those
hop in
jobs
there.
exist. I know those jobs
Yeah,
exist.
yeah.
They're not just messaging all these random
No.
people on Facebook to
Yep.
see, like, you don't even know what my native language is, and you just told me that you're gonna pay me to translate from English, or from my native language to English, or vice versa, or whatever. But like I'll give it to me, and I'm gonna hand it right back to you because I speak
Yep.
English. That's all I speak.
Yeah.
Griffin wants to know, are online teaching companies not getting targeted in China? I thought the double reduction policy is targeting all after school classes, or are they flying under the radar?
To be honest, yeah, they're flying under the radar to a certain extent. But there is how could I say it? Um, in that law that they made, they weren't very clear with what they wanted the schools to do. Now, for example, for our school, right, we only cater to two specific age groups. We cater to kids who are not in kindergarten yet, right? They've just started out and they just want to have the experience of seeing foreigners and kind of like talking to them, right? Got some food.
I just got food delivered to me.
My word. Right,
Okay.
so that's the one part of it. The second part is we're looking at kids who are going to be writing the KET, PET, IELTS exams. These are all things that schools are not offering, right? You don't have English teachers in school or Chinese English teachers in schools offering those kinds of services. Those exams are externally run, you know. So that's our market. Yes, that being said, there are schools that are offering exactly what they offer in school, just the normal Wales English vibe type of learning. And I don't know, they're there are still even schools open. Like, are you familiar with any of the schools that were running in China?
Yes, but
So
not.
like Abbey. Do you know a school called Abbey?
I don't know, Abby. No.
It's called American Baby English.
Oh, that's cute. No, I'm
Yeah.
not. Katie might.
Um,
What?
what about like My Gym? You have My Gym in America.
I actually don't know that one either.
So My Gym is a little bit different. It's kind of cool, right? They do physical fitness for Asian kids because they don't really get to play outside as much as American kids and kids in England and all that stuff. So they do like physical fitness, but there is an English element involved. So they also fly under the radar a little bit, you
Yeah, we
know.
had a lot of teachers started when this first happened. A lot of teachers started instead of offering the English lessons, they would offer art lessons, or they
Uh,
would offer like you know
yeah,
they would offer
music.
yeah, music lessons or something like that. I had oh my goodness, I had parents that were asking me, and I play the ukulele very poorly. Okay, like I would not consider. I've been playing for a couple of years. I can play songs, but I would not consider myself a musician by any means. And I had parents that would ask me to give them ukulele lessons, and I tried it, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. It is so hard. The kids can't get it in tune. I can't
Yeah.
help you, you know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and your company is also niche down though because you're focusing on test prep, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Test prep and babies. But that, like that's the thing though. Having having babies online is kind of like also not the easiest thing. You can't have every teacher just come in and do it. Like you need a
I
teacher
love
who's
it.
paid.
That's one of my favorites. When I
Yeah.
worked for a company, now I don't market to those because I had to choose a niche, and eventually I ended up going to third grade writing. But I when I worked for companies, I would have all of the babies come in, and
Yeah.
the company learned that I was the one that was good with the babies. I was the like I have taught kids that um you know were drinking milk out of a bottle or had a pacifier in their mouth, and
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
so much fun, and I like it was cool that I got to grow with these kids, and as they were growing. But
Yeah.
I
I was really lucky
love it.
because that was never my thing. My wife, that was all her. That was her field. Yeah. No, for me,
So that's why you're
no, thank you.
split, right? You're the test prep, she's the baby, so that you kind of got
Uh
into this together. Is that how that worked?
yeah, we're in it together, but she's the accounting because I suck with numbers. you know. So yeah, she does that.
Yeah,
Ah,
Katie. So when
Powerfish.
we worked at Palefish, Katie got the preteens. I got all the babies.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so much fun. It was so much fun, and um, I I don't know. It's you have to have a you definitely have to have a certain personality to work with
Yes.
babies. You have to have a lot of
Yeah.
patience, and I mean, I have 6 kids upstairs right now. So I've got this. Like I have the experience
The
doing it, but
patience.
you have to learn how to be able to pull them back in. Are you leaving?
I'm off to work.
Aw. Okay, hold on one
Get
second.
everyone food. I gotta go.
Thank you. Be safe. Okay. But you have to learn how to like, when that kid runs away, you have to be able to like pull them back in and, be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's the thing.
There
I
was
have
a
a
lot.
one.
There was a lot of this. Where's the teacher?
Yeah.
Lots of that.
Yeah. Actually, one of when we are doing the training now, one of the teacher who came online, he was like, because he spoke to me afterwards, and he was like, oh, I just have a problem. This one student that I have, this is all I ever see of her. That's all I see. And I'm like, oh, really? Is she a baby? And he's like, no, 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 she's like 12. Oh, shit. Sorry, dude. You know, it's just every, like you said, every teacher has to find their niche. I can do babies if I really have to, because I have in the past, but man, like when it comes to older kids, that's my thing. And I love messing around with them. Like for me, like I'm not one of those ESL teachers who goes online and plays games and does like a whole bunch of fun activities. I have one thing and I do it really well. And that's like I coax them into like teaching me Chinese while I teach them English. So I'll make a fool of myself trying to speak Mandarin to them, and they'll feel just automatically more comfortable speaking to me in English because they know that we're on the same level now, right? You
I've
can't
done
speak
that. I've done
Mandarin.
that
Yeah,
too. And then
yeah,
they always praise you, and then you think that you can walk around like speaking Chinese, and you actually speak to Chinese to someone that you're not teaching, and you say it, and they're like, "Huh?" Like
yep, yep.
my
Yeah,
student made me
that's my
feel
life.
really good. My
Yeah,
student-
yeah, yeah. That's
yeah,
exactly what happened.
yeah, because
Um,
Chinese is just it's hard with all the
the tones.
yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
were lucky. We were really lucky because living there, you have to pick it up. It's a need. So you kind of like you start off by just learning the words that you need to know right now, and then it progresses from there. But yeah, what's this? Live in China, based in the
Katie
Yep,
learned Chinese from a 3-year-old.
yep, yep, and
Love it.
that happens, right? I don't know how long Katie stayed in China, but so many times, like we had a family blatantly tell us, like, "Oh yeah, we're being friends with you, so you can teach our kids English," and we're like, "Okay, yeah, well the food's good, so
They're
let's
using
just
you.
let's
They're
do this."
using you. Yeah. You're
Yeah,
like, well, I'm just here for the food, so it's good.
yeah, but you see that brings me on to like a really interesting topic. So their culture is something like you have to be there and experience it to actually know what it's about. And if you don't know their culture, good luck doing business with them, like at all. Like it's they're two worlds apart. Like I always have to tell the teachers who come in and work for us because we have two recruiters who recruit the students in China, and one of them is like she's a real what's the best word that I could use for her? She's hard ass.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that she is that way. It's just that when she communicates in English, it's business. There's no friendship involved. There's nothing of that. She just has a job. She wants to get the job done, and that's it. Whereas, like in the Western world, you kind of like a little more polite with each other. You have business format emails and all this kind of stuff. She doesn't have that, right? And this has led to her arguing with my teachers like every week because they're like, "Oh, she's being so mean to us. She's doing this, she's doing that." And I'm like, "It's not her. It's just the culture, you
Right.
know?" So, yeah, that's why I say you want to go private, be ready.
I honestly think that anyone who people will come in all the time and they're like, "Oh, well, can someone verify my WeChat?" Stop. If you're asking that question, then you're not marketing in the right place. If
Yeah,
you are having a hard time getting on WeChat, you're going to struggle and struggle. We're going to go back and forth. I'm going to verify you after 6 million times because we keep timing out because we're doing it from so far away. You're going to get on WeChat and then you have a empty social media all to yourself with nothing that you can do on it because you don't have connections. And
yeah,
then you're going to be told that you have to go over on Xiaohongshu. Well, the problem with Xiaohongshu is there are more restrictions than we are used to in our Western media world.
yeah,
They have more restrictions. You're going to get yourself kicked off of Xiaohongshu because you're posting the wrong thing. You're sending the wrong link. You're doing this. You're going to get locked out. Somebody got locked. They said in a group there that they were kicked off of WeChat, or their WeChat account was locked 27 times because they were using an emulator for Android. I'm not. I guess it's like a certain.
that's not why. That's not why.
Well, I think it is why. I think it is why because that's the only thing that they were doing wrong. But like, you have like in Western media, I can go onto planable.com and I can schedule all of my posts to all of my things at the same time. You can't connect other things to WeChat like that unless it's an
Yeah.
approved WeChat app.
Well,
Um,
the reason I say that's not why is because an emulator is downloaded and it's to play games, right? Now, I lived in China and had emulators on my phone and nothing ever happened to me. What I think what people just don't understand about WeChat is that app is their life. Their social media is on it, their bank, how they pay their water, their like social security, all their information is on that app. Like if you don't have WeChat in China, like you're not going to do too well. Cash is not even. It's used to be king, but WeChat is like WeChat blocks emulators. Was a particular person blocking initially when they created a new account? I suppose, but what it comes down to at the end of the day is that they have to be so careful with with like security threats, because like I said, their everything is there, right? So if there's anything that looks dodgy or sketchy, they might take it down. But I really think that for the average person who's using WeChat, like if you've just got it now, the reason it's going to get taken down is number one, because it's not active enough. So it looks like it could be a fake account, right?
Or you get too active too fast,
Yeah,
so you become a
right.
spammer. Yep.
So that's another thing, right? Another thing could be that hmm, if you're posting something and in any way, shape, or form it's being translated into Chinese, and that Mandarin translation is in any way offensive, they'll block your account like right now. Even if you said the most innocent thing, like shame. Shame is something you don't say. You know, like in English, we'd say, "Oh, that's a shame." Don't say that. The translation for shame is
Oh.
not good. It's
So
shame on you.
this, there's like 10 different ways I could go with this here, but what I want to say right now is that a lot of teachers, they will write all of their promotional materials in Chinese. And I've always said, like, don't do that. And the reason I'm saying don't do that is because I have done the market research on it and I have
Yeah,
asked my Chinese followers, do you prefer to see my stuff in Chinese, knowing that I can't speak Chinese and it's coming off bad? Or do you prefer me to market to you using English? And they all say, we want to learn English. Your Chinese sucks. Even when you're using a translator, it looks terrible. Like
yeah,
it sounds spammy and scammy, and it doesn't translate correctly a lot when you're
yeah,
doing it like that. We'd rather see what you want in English and then be able to ask you after we translate it, what did you mean by this part?
mm,
If you can't speak Chinese, you shouldn't be writing in Chinese.
yeah,
um, Sometimes when I do my email marketing, I will do I'll do it in English and then I'll do it in Chinese. And at the bottom, I say this was translated by, by a translation app, so that, because emails, you can't always, WeChat, you can click the button and translate it.
yeah.
WeChat, they'd have to do a lot, or email,
But
they have to do a lot.
The WeChat translation is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Like it is the worst. You
Yeah,
know.
but a lot of people are, they immediately think, well, I need to be marketing in Chinese. And your particular niche or market might be different than mine, and you are different than me. Everybody's a different person. So I encourage you to ask and find out what your people want to see. But for my people, they said, don't use Chinese. The translators suck and you sound stupid. Like,
Yeah.
just don't do it.
Well, I
Um,
mean, that's the thing. Like in terms of our marketing, we have Chinese people doing the marketing, so we don't really have to worry about that. But if you are, I guess, if you are going to do any kind of marketing and you want to add a little bit of Chinese to make it look less, I guess, rigid, like rigid in English, you can add like cutesy things. So you could add small words and translate those, like something like cute, a cute translation, kai, cute, and then put it in the corner like just one word, cute, or Happy New Year, like phrases that can't be messed up, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
But shame is not one of them. Do not
Yeah.
say shame.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good point there. And there's something else that I was going to say here, but oh yeah, if you're getting on WeChat and you're struggling on WeChat and you're struggling to market to the Chinese marketplace, um you need to take a step back and look at it. This might be a sign that you're in the wrong marketplace,
Yeah,
because if you're, and like, yes, there is a market on WeChat. There is a market on Xiaohongshu. Chinese, you can definitely get Chinese students. They're going to pay you what you're worth. Okay. But if you're having a problem just getting on and you're getting locked out and you're getting banned and you're getting blocked, get out of Chinese social media.
mm,
Because
yeah,
like it's an extra hurdle for you to jump over if you want to like learn, if you want to get students fast and you want to start building your business. You're not in the right place if you're struggling with even getting your WeChat verified, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. No, for sure, 100%. And to be honest with you, if I was to give anyone any advice, I would say that the only reason that they're asking to be like asking for their code to be scanned onto WeChat is probably to communicate with one of the couple people, recruiters who are getting onto Facebook and then kind of like getting you to add them and then trying to convince you to accept the lower rate. I
Mm.
wouldn't do that. right? I've seen a lot of people do that, and a lot of people complain afterwards. They'll take advantage of you, and they'll also get you to try to recruit for them so that it looks more legitimate, because it's genuinely hard for them to get onto Facebook, you know.
Okay.
So, and WeChat is not really considered, how could I say it? It's not really considered a place to do advertising. Our advertising department does like one, maybe one post on WeChat a week, if that. It's just not the place.
No, it's more of a natural building relationships with people, and
Yeah.
WeChat is fantastic for referral
Mm,
marketing. Like it's great. You
yeah.
start a WeChat group and you give value in that group, and then boom, everybody's adding everybody, and next thing you know,
Yeah.
you have 27 groups, and you're losing your mind because there's no automation strategy, and it's a group chat.
Ah,
WeChat's not my
but
favorite.
because of AI, now there is, right? Now you can, on your WeChat, you can set all your messages to be translated automatically as soon as they come through. And I don't know if you saw, they'll be launching the Samsung S24, right? That phone is integrated with AI now. So that means that any message coming to you from any language will be translated to you in English.
Mhm.
So AI is like going to be king. Compare WeChat to WhatsApp. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
in terms of automation, like, okay, so uh, I can't go. Oh, I'm running a Facebook group and I'm running a WeChat group, and
Mm,
both are for students. The people that join my Facebook group, they give me their email address, and now I can do email marketing to them. I can send them a private message as soon as they join, saying, "Hey, I teach English. Here's a trial lesson, or here's a whatever I want to do." Right? I can I can set it so that um, keywords get banned from being said just in that group.
yeah,
I can go through and look at a post. This is a big thing, a post, and go through that thread instead of this post that is not relevant. And then the entire thread is in a group chat. And then you
yeah.
wake up and you're like
For
27,000
days. Yeah,
messages later. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the thing, But I think for anybody who's watching and thinking about maybe advertising in China, like I promise you, WeChat is not the place to go and do it. I would, if you are creative, Xiaohongshu, sure, sure, go do it there. But um, the name escapes me now. Mm, it's like the Facebook of China. It's not Xiaohongshu. Uh, I'll think of it. But there is like a Facebook in China.
We
Weibo?
the penguin. Yeah. Is it Weibo?
No, 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 not
Okay.
Weibo. I'll think
Heidi,
of
do
it.
you
I'll think.
know? Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
think of it.
all
But
right.
yeah, don't go do it there.
I want to address this question really quick, and then I'm gonna have to go because my boyfriend just took off on the road, and I've got my kids up there, and they're
I
not in
have
here.
one question for you too, though.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. Oh, QQ.
No.
Okay. So Griffin wants to know how the US market for Chinese students living abroad here compares to the mainland market. Okay. So I'll answer that question, and you can add to it if you want to. For Chinese students that are living abroad, they have access to the social media, and they're on the social media that we're on. So they're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're on like LinkedIn, they're on TikTok,
They're everywhere.
and they're on WeChat, Douyin, they're on both. So Chinese students that are living abroad, you have the opportunity to market to them in either way that you want to, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
the market is there, um, and you can reach them easier using Western social media.
yeah. But they're more wise to everything. They get to see everything, whereas the clientele that you have in mainland China, they don't really get to see like the trends, or they don't get to follow the Facebook posts or anything like that. If you're advertising to someone who's in America or anywhere else who's Chinese, they can go onto the Facebook, like onto your Facebook page and see everything about you. So it makes it a little bit,
It
I
could
would
go
say a
either
little bit
way.
harder. Yeah, yeah,
It
it
could
could.
go if you're good at presenting yourself as a teacher online, your online presence is good. It can be good. If you're
Good.
not so great, then it
Or
can be
if you
not so
just
great.
started. right? If you just started, then you got nothing there.
Yeah.
So that could bite you in the butt. Now, the question I wanted to ask you, because you have such a huge difference in pay, right? Where teachers who are going privately are asking for lower and lower and lower, and teachers who are working with companies asking for higher and higher and higher. What would you do in that situation?
Is who? Who am I in
As
the situation?
you're me in this situation.
Oh, okay. So I would set my rates. I would say this is what I pay. This is what I pay my teachers. Teachers with, like, you don't have to tell them like my rates go from here to here, but I would say, like, this is what our starting rate is, and you qualify for this, and um you can increase your rate just like what you're already doing.
Yeah.
If a teacher, okay, so a company can offer whatever they want to for pay. I mean, you want to pay teachers $2 an hour, pay $2 an hour, you're going to get $2 an hour teachers. Honestly, um I would just be upfront with teachers on what you're paying, and get be ready to accept what you're going to get with those teachers, I guess. And then I would just really make it clear to the parents. They're literally running labs. Can you hear them?
Yep.
There's a like path around the house, I guess, where they can go living room, kitchen, dining room, living room,
Uh,
kitchen, dining room, and
yeah.
they're literally running circles. I can hear it. But I would definitely make sure that you reflect to the parents that you hire the best teachers that are good at this, and then your rates become solid. So it can. I don't know your business strategy and I don't know the ins and outs and everything, but really make it clear that you hire the experts, that um your teachers are the expert in this. Like, you hire the best teachers in this. Stand up for your teachers, stand by your teachers. Like, yes, they might not have been here for a long time, but they are the best because of this reason. Like, why did you hire them?
Yep.
You can hire teachers that are very low rates, and you're going to end up not having great results with a lot of those teachers too.
Yeah.
And then Katie says, I would focus on a higher value niche to ensure clients are willing to pay the rates that make the business model work. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I agree with all of that, but I do have a soft spot. So for me, I always look for like that underdog teacher, and I've found like two diamond in the rough teachers where they had nothing, and then I just worked with them and built them up and built them up, right?
But
And now, what's that?
you know this, that those teachers, like, you have an eye for it, where you
Yeah.
can say that, like you're still hiring the best. You knew that they were a diamond in the rough. You are still hiring the best.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't think Puff Daddy found Usher. Okay,
Uh.
these are
Okay.
singers. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I
Puff
know
Daddy
that
found.
just because what? Because I'm from Africa.
You looked confused. Maybe just like, why are
Because you went rap, so
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
expect you to go
I'm
rap.
dating
Like,
myself. I'm dating myself. P Diddy. I'm sorry. It's P Diddy now.
okay,
He's
all
changed his
right.
name a couple
And
of
you also
different
said
times.
Puff Daddy. I was like, okay, so we're going back,
Yeah,
like
like I'm in
back.
the '90s here. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, who found Justin Bieber? Like, okay, but like, you have like these people. Excuse
Usher.
me. You already are running around. Why are you asking me that? Go away.
I don't run.
Oh, okay. Okay, don't get hurt. Okay, so so you have P Diddy that founded Usher, right? Like, Usher was not anybody. He was a kid. He That's probably a really bad example. That's the one that came to me, but that's
That's
a
why
really
I
bad.
was surprised. You said
Well,
you went rap. I was like,
well,
okay,
no, that's probably a really bad example because there's a lot of allegations. But I just went down the rabbit hole with that last night, so that's the one that came to mind.
okay,
But like, okay, so you have like some singer that gets founded, right? Justin Bieber, he was founded on YouTube. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
so he was not the best. But somebody saw potential in him, and they were like, okay, we're gonna raise you up. they didn't come and say, "Oh, check out this new guy that, they put his stuff out there, they blasted him and they raised him up on a pedestal and that made him worth something,
Yeah.
like
It was like also Ed Sheeran was the same, right? There's
was he?
that story.
I love
Yeah,
it.
there's that story of some famous actor. I I can't remember his name. He was the guy who acted in Django.
Oh,
Okay. Anyway, so he's like big into like the celebrity social scene, and he takes Ed Sheeran to this jazz club, and his friend is like, "Why are you bringing this white boy into a jazz club?" And he's like, "Just watch and see." And then Ed Sheeran goes up there and he sings to this crowd, and the crowd gives him a standing ovation. And then he's like, "Yeah, it was the coolest story. I just looked over at my friend and I was like, I told you." you know.
yeah.
So it's like that. It's like that.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of the thing. Like you don't have to Denzel. He said Denzel?
was it Denzel? I don't think it was Denzel. It was man. I don't. It's 12 o'clock, guys. Like it's what? No, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So
Well, okay, so that's the thing. The whole thing here is that he said, why are you bringing this guy, or why are you bringing me this teacher that has never taught before? Just watch, okay? Like
exactly.
you gotta have faith, you gotta have confidence in the teachers that you hire. You have the opportunity to have two different business models, right? You could have the 14-cent teacher, or you can have the
Yep.
teacher, or you can have the 14 cents company, or you can have the company that's going to get you results. And like, you got to trust me, trust that I know what I'm talking about, trust that I'm hiring the best teachers. I think that that's kind of like, that's a good thing to look at. Let's look at it
Yeah.
and have that attitude. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is Ed
It was
Sheeran.
Jamie Foxx. It
Jamie
was
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are Jamie Foxx and your teacher is Ed Sheeran. Okay.
There we go.
So that's kind of the attitude. Like, oh, I'm telling you right now, this teacher is the best. Just watch,
Yeah.
try it
Yeah.
out. You don't like it, come back and let me know what you don't like about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming on, Sean. I know a
Sure.
lot of people are like, we're gonna have a debate about this, and I was like, no, I already like I knew it when I was
You just hooked
talking to you.
them.
Yes, I listening to your voice messages when we started talking. I was like, we're not having this conversation in here. All I want to know nothing until I talk to you live. I'll be surprised. But I could already like feel that it was going to be friendly. So that was great. All right. Thank you for coming on, everybody. And we'll see you guys all next week. And hopefully we don't have any tech issues like this again. All right. Bye, guys.